Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, thank you so much for being here this afternoon. When you organize event, there are two worries. One is whether people will turn up. If they turn up, whether they'll attend the last session. So thank you so much for being here. And we started Siyakhula journey on the 16th of March with a coding workshop for learners. And yesterday you saw what the work that they did. And thinking back for Siyakhula, what was our goal? It was ambitious but simple. We wanted to create a space or platform where mathematical community, policymakers, general public can sit in one roof. They sit to deliberate about the challenges, opportunities in mathematical sciences, education, and research in Africa at every level. The platform where this community can network and also have fun. A platform where we share the stories of those visionaries, leaders, activists, supporters, trailblazers who work and still are working tirelessly to create and shape the future of mathematics agenda in Africa. A space or platform where stories are those scientists, future scientists, who succeeded against the odds to become beacon of hope and inspiration for millions of young people in Africa. And as we reflect back in the past days, our festival has indeed achieved that. Can we give a round of applause for that? In the short term, planning and delivering a multi-stakeholder event like this, it takes team effort. It takes community. And I want to take this opportunity to celebrate all of you who are sitting here, our speakers, presenters, various stakeholders, workshop organizers, for their valuable contribution to the success of this festival. In a long term, Professor Turok said for aims to 1020, there were special people who contributed for the success. And indeed, if you think about it, not everyone who contributed are here with us. So I just want to take this opportunity to all those people who contributed to the success of AIMS, from being started here, scaled up to other centers, and to be where it is today. So thank you to those people who work behind the scene and were not here with us. And to all of you, I want to leave you with the words of Dr. Luther Martin. As we embark in the next 2 decades of growing maths in Africa, I just want to encourage you that if you don't see yourself as someone who can fly, why don't you run? And if you don't see yourself as a runner, why don't you walk? And if you don't see yourself as someone who can walk, you can still crawl. But whatever you do, the world needs you, South Africa needs you, and this continent needs you. Thank you very much. During the opening ceremony, Professor Turok surprised all of us. For those who were not there, we have a snapshot of how the ceremony looked like. That was our opening ceremony, where we have over 300 people celebrating maths and making connection and intellectual exchange. Well, over the past few days, this was happening in this building. And then Yesterday we had this beautiful picture that can tell a story of hope, a story of hope for Africa. So without further ado, I hope that Professor Turok has another surprise today for all of us, if not all of us, maybe for one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, please join welcome Prof. Turok on stage.
Okay, well, it's my wonderful honor and privilege to give you what I hope will be an exciting surprise. But before I do that, I want to thank the many people who've made this event such a success. Of course, the main focal point of AIMS is the students. We're all here because of you. And we gain courage and strength from you. We know your lives are often difficult, have been difficult, and your families' lives have been difficult in many cases. And we are completely inspired by your courage and persistence. That's what gives us strength. So first, thanks to the students. So, of course, as been said many times, AIMS is a meeting place, and in Lesotho, which is a country very close to my heart, because I was a teacher there, a meeting place is called a khotla, and in South Africa we say lekgotla often. AIMS is a khotla. It's a meeting place, and people come and meet, and I can't think of a better example than this conference. We've met each other, ideas emerge, and many, many fruits are going to be born from this event. In particular, at AIMS, African students meet international and local lecturers. And the way I like to think about this, I like making a beautiful loaf of bread. You know, you need yeast, but the actual material of the bread is the flour. And the better the flour, the better the taste of the bread. And I think the international visiting lecturers are the yeast which makes AIMS grow and rise. And so we must thank them. And it's impossible to thank them all. There are 25 or 30 at every AIMS center every year. But it's astonishing the extent to which they come back and their lives are changed by teaching at AIMS. So I'm just going to mention a few people I've seen this week. Sorry for those I'm not mentioning. Bruce Bartlett, Nancy Newdower, Phil Knight, Patrick Dory, Stefan Uvry, Balash Sendroy, Hans-Georg Zimmermann, Tendai Mugwagwa, who of course gave a talk. And I have to mention my own colleague, Luigi Del Debbio from Edinburgh, who just left a few days ago, and he told me in an email this is the most amazing teaching experience he's ever had. And a student here, Gaylord, I don't know if he's around, I hope he is. There he is. Gaylord said it's the best lecturer he ever had. So AIMS is a matchmaker where the best students meet the best lecturers. And I think that's what drives this enterprise. I want to thank the center presidents of AIMS, who all came here with their teams. Unfortunately, one was missing, Wilfred Ndifon, and through illness. His illness was caused actually by the demand that he had to fly home to Cameroon to get a visa for South Africa, which was ridiculous. And so the tribulations which our staff and students and center presidents suffer is really terrible. But these people have the courage, again, to create and build institutions from scratch, very high quality institutions. And I wanted just to mention, you're probably not all aware, but AIMS is really trying to recreate the idea of a university. We are forced to innovate, partly by the demands of our situation, lack of funds, and general obstacles we face, but partly because of a desire. We think it is time to reinvent the university and make it more dynamic and more user-friendly and more focused on its true mission. So AIMS, 1 year ago, we abolished the position of CEO. You know, most universities have a president, a vice-chancellor, very centralized administration, and usually the academics feel rather antagonistic, to put it politely, with the administration, and vice versa. So we started an experiment where the top management body in AIMS is now a council. It's a council of the center presidents who have a chair, and that chair will rotate regularly among members of the council. There are other aspects in which we need to rethink and recreate, but I must say this council has been an experiment, like everything at AIMS, and over the past year has been amazingly successful. And the basic principles of learning from each other, valuing each other's experience, input, difference, is really characteristic of how AIMS works and how it tries to work. Of course, I have to thank our supporters. We had, of course, the German State Secretary for Science and Education with us, and I think this visit changed her. You saw how personal and passionate she became on the stage, and likewise her corresponding member from the South African government. So we hope our supporters gain something from being involved with AIMS. So in particular in South Africa, Department of Higher Education and Training, Department of Science and Innovation. These are long-term partnerships which we're very grateful for, and we hope they learn from. The MasterCard Foundation, we had the senior director of their scholars program here, and I know she had an absolutely wonderful experience. So thank you to everyone who interacted with her and encouraged her to support our 10-year plan, which we hope they will. Our German partners are really something special for AIMS. We've had a long-term partnership, and I've said many times, Germany is one of the few countries which really understands science as a long-term endeavor and is willing to invest for the long term. They've done that with AIMS, and the fruits in our German research chairs are obvious. This was really a visionary investment, and one just has to look at the quality of the people who've taken these chairs and see what a smart move that was. There are many others who've supported AIMS. SAP with the marvelous workshop for kids, coding and embroidery, and we saw the fruits. That was one of many wonderful outcomes. I want to thank our partners in South Africa, you know, the whole South African mathematical community. AIMS is a space, a welcoming space. We want to work for all of you, with all of you. Together we can accomplish so much more than we could alone. In particular, the topology workshop, functional analysis, I think these have been great successes. I've sat in a few of your sessions and seen the intensity and excitement, the launch of @AIMS with its own logo, algebra topology at AIMS. That's one of many exciting initiatives. And the president of South African Mathematical Society, just this afternoon, we had a wonderful discussion about what we do to transform undergraduate maths education in South Africa. We want to work with you on that. Then, of course, we've just had the launch of this amazing new journal. I want to read it. You know, I'm a cosmologist, but I must say what you're doing is pretty damn exciting. And I think it's all about recreating academia and making it actually less academic and more relevant And as, I was very inspired by Maria and John Shaw's enthusiasm and vision, and the idea that we need to understand better who we are as human beings. What is it to be human? I think we don't know yet, but this is part of the mission of AIMS and all of the people who work with us in the AIMS family. I can't thank the AIMS staff enough. Since the beginning of AIMS, I think AIMS started with 4 staff running the Maths Institute. And of those, 2 are still here. Actually, I think we started with 5, and 3 are still here. Okay, it's amazing, the long-term commitment and willingness to take on ridiculously ambitious tasks. I mean, essentially holding a TED conference, which is what has happened here, in a small institute with very limited staff, is a ridiculously ambitious thing. And they're always willing to take on these tasks, and they then fulfill them beyond anyone's dreams. So, there's this statement that Mandela made that it always seems impossible until it is done. And that is exactly what would describe Siyakhula. I first heard about it from Ulrich. You're serious? A whole week conference? You expect people to sit through this for 5 days? And here we are, packed with a big online audience. And and I can tell you I've been to TED twice, and it's nowhere near as exciting as this. So I also want to thank the other staff at AIMS, like Zenobia, AIMS Sec. I think one of the most moving parts of the meeting was hearing from those school kids from Khayelitsha, and hearing them sing and talk with such confidence about women heroes and African women heroes who are unrecognized and need to be recognized and appreciated. So, yeah, that was enormously motivating. The session on schools and teaching, that's the roots of everything we try to do. I have to thank the caterers. They've done a phenomenal job. Ulrich was explaining to me how this actually works. Now, most of you are not aware. You may have seen the trolleys going around that way and coming back down that side of the building. There's a very highly organized behind-the-scene operation to get 300 plates, have them washed when we are not in session so it doesn't disturb us. And it's like a big factory, producing our meals and recycling the plates and washing them in time for the next meal. And it's happened seamlessly and beautifully, and the quality of the food and everything has been fantastic. So thank you to the caterers. Thank you to the IT team and events team. You've all done a fantastic job. I can't help but highlight Theresia, Ulrich's partner. She has expertise in hotel management, and really she's made the AIMS better than a 5-star hotel on a 1-star budget. It's quite amazing how well looked after we've been, and how beautiful the Institute have been. I think the flowers are slightly starting to get exhausted, like all of us. But, but a big thank you to Theresia. And I want to, of course, I can't thank Ulrich enough. It's not possible to thank him because I don't know how to, except by promising to support him and all his efforts in all possible ways. And I think we all should do that. So now, and I'm sure I've forgotten to thank somebody, but please excuse me, and I will make it up to you, I promise. Now comes a very exciting moment. We ran a competition to rethink that the next Einstein should be African since 2008. So that's about 15 years, over 15 years. And we thought it was time for a refresh. So we opened this up to the whole AIMS family to suggest new slogans for AIMS. It was a very successful competition. We had 65 entries, which we had to review. And so the Council of Center Presidents reviewed all of these entries. And we were thrilled to find a winner. So that's what we're going to show now. I hope I'm speaking in the right order. The quest for a new slogan, okay? So we had a competition, 65 entries. This is all people, lecturers, center presidents. Oh, I've got the clicker, the infamous clicker. It's my, okay. So, you know, who was going to propose the right slogan? So everybody joined in, but this slide shows the percentage of the 65 entries from each category. I'm really happy this was dominated by our students, as in all things. The youngest are the most creative among us. You know, as you go more and more senior, you get less and less creative. So this was really rewarding. And so the winner comes from a particular AIMS center. And I know Mama will not be surprised. He has a big grin. But it's not him. Of course, it's not him. But since becoming director of AIMS Cameroon, Mama has cultivated a culture of excellence. And the students who come out of Cameroon do really well. In the most difficult circumstance of all of our AIMS center, you know, the center there has been essentially in a war zone near the boundary of the Anglophone, Francophone regions, internet cutoff, all kinds of obstacles. But nevertheless, what has come out of Cameroon consistently is really high quality graduates. So we're thrilled that AIMS Cameroon can claim victory in this exciting competition. And the person who won, so who do you think it will be? No, I'm not, not ready. I'm not ready. So let's have a vote for staff member. No. Academic staff, maybe. Postdoc, German research chair. Students, of course. Okay, so here's the big reveal. Here. Woo! The winner and the future institute, which, by the way, we hope will be opened in October this year. And it's going to be an absolutely fantastic center. And thank you to Mama for his leadership for many years. Now, David is somehow representative of the Ames community of students. He comes from DRC, so it's a win for DRC. Let's applaud. And you know, since the first year of Ames, the DRC students have been something special. Their country, again, is often a war zone, very difficult circumstances, and yet they come here and they are young intellectuals. They are creative, they do music, they cook, they do poetry, you know, and something special about DRC we should be thankful for. So David went to the Université Libre des Pays de Grand Lac, which means the Free University of the Great Lakes countries. So this is in the heart of Africa. I think he went to the branch of that university in the east of DRC. I'm not sure exactly which branch, but I believe it was the branch in Goma. And that's just totally remarkable, that people are running a very high quality undergraduate university in Goma. Goma is a region which has suffered incredibly in the wars in Central Africa. Anyway, that's where David was from, and he's Francophone, but his entry was written in beautiful English, and really very striking, and I hope you like it. I also want to thank, before revealing, before we reveal, I want to thank Prince Osei, who's here, President of Ames Ghana, and his communications team. Let me just say briefly, so Ames restructured. We have a Council of Center Presidents, and instead of a central administration, we delegated the different central administration functions to each center. So Ames South Africa is responsible for IT, Ames Rwanda for finance, and so on, and Prince's Cameroon for academics, academic programs. Ames Ghana is responsible for communications and also gender equity. And Prince and his communications team were up all last night preparing for us to learn about this new slogan. So let's thank Prince and his team for their work. And let's hope it works. Okay, here it comes. Please turn the sound up. Yeah. And so I think during this week, we've all understood this more deeply. As was said before, Africa needs science, but equally science needs Africa. And unless science absorbs African talent and is changed by that process, the world's future is in jeopardy. And this is absolutely essential mission. And I'm going to close just by quoting Morgan Freeman again, that there is nothing more important for the future of the planet. Thank you. So Mama will be carrying the certificate as a beautiful certificate of recognition to David, and we look forward to seeing David in the future. Okay. Enjoy your weekend.
As hosts of a Mathematical Sciences Festival, which we hope will become a more regular occurrence, I'd like to say a few closing words on behalf of AIM South Africa. The picture you see on your screen here is a typical process. On the left, you have things that need to be done. In the middle, you have tasks that are in progress, and at the end, you have things that are done. You can see here that almost nothing was done here. And there is an amazing team that moved many, many more tasks that were in the to-do column to the done column to put together this event. This event was 15 months of non-stop planning just for this week. I'd like to acknowledge a number of partners. Everyone from our German friends. Anna, do you just want to please stand up? Kirsten, please. I don't see anyone else. Michaela. For organizing weekly course with Boubacar is here. Everyone from every German ministry who met us every week, who bared with us through all sorts of programmatic changes, even at the last minute. Thank you very much. Is Sunny or anyone from topology for tomorrow? Sorry, functional analysis. Yes, thank you so much for your team, for all the strings that you've pulled. David Holgate, anyone who is involved in topology for tomorrow. Thank you so much. David's on the AIMS Council. He was also sweating with us, with his team. Anyone from SAP still around? No. Is Michael Winkler still around? He left already. Okay. I'm going to remember and forget a few people. So I'd like to ask our volunteers to please stand up and come to the front. These are all the AIM students who you greeted early in the morning. Our volunteers, please stand up, come to the front. So this is your support crew for the week. I'd particularly like to call out Lorraine. Just raise your hand. Claire, where are you? For coordinating all the volunteers, for running WhatsApp groups with 70 or 80 people in it, for bearing with everyone who has sent you messages saying urgent, urgent, urgent. You have no idea the amount of communication that happens in the background to make sure that all of you have a very seamless experience here. We hope it was seamless, as seamless as we could get it. So thank you so much for all our student volunteers at AIMS. So Yeah, thank you, student volunteers. And after the student, you can sit down now, because people are hungry for dinner. Then there's another special group of people. This is the group of people who were responsible and sat in a room, in a control room or a team room for months on end, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, moving tasks from left to right. Everyone in my team at AIMS here in South Africa, please come to the stage. I'd like to honor you and acknowledge you for your very hard work. Lorraine, don't walk back. Come. Jonathan, please come to the stage. Claire, Bjorn, and Naomi, Karen. No. Renee, where's Militandu? Hang on. So, just stay very quiet for a second. Just for a second. Before you clap, there are a few people missing here. And they're busy carrying crates of wine and nibbles outside. So Teresa's run to find them. I don't know, I wanted our AIMS staff to just take a big bow, but it's not fair to take a big bow if Renee and Teresa, please come up. Teresa. Len, come to the front, please. Okay, who's missing? I don't see Gina. Can someone please call Gina? Is Gina coming? Is Zenobia coming? Zenobia, your whole team who ran the, I don't know if you know, but we had a recording studio at the back that we recorded his verbal accounts from people in AIMS over the last couple of days. I don't know if they're here. Okay, they're still busy recording. So before we do our last bow, I'd like to say thank you to a very special person. She's been your hostess for this whole week. She's worked harder than, there's Gina, come. Yes, Gina, come. Thank you. Okay, my final thanks is to our hostess for the week, who has worked harder than anyone I've known worked this year. I've seen emails from her at 2 o'clock in the morning and at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there are times when I said, Rejoyce, please go to bed. Please go and spend time with the family. Rejoyce, please stand in the middle, right there. No, not shy, just right there. Thank you very, very much. So on behalf of AIMS South Africa, do you want to say a few final words? Or shall I wrap it up? Yeah. All right. On behalf of AIMS South Africa, thank you so much for joining us for this week. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Thank you for participating, for sharing talks, for flying in from all over the world just because you care. We now like to invite you to join us for dinner next door and just a big closing party and farewell. And we do hope to see you again in our center, if not here, in any of the fantastic AIM centers across Africa. Thank you.
Okay, so I won't let this pass. But thank you very much. I was talking to Professor Turok to say, where do we get strength to pull something like this? Where do we get the level of resilience to pull something like this? Thank you so much, Ulrich, to share that I sleep at 2, but it's more than sleeping. And for our young people, for us, for this continent to move forward, it needs something special. Education is not enough. For my peers, working 8 to 5 is not enough. And I talked with Professor Turok where we were really debating. There's this saying of work smart and play. Work smart, not hard. Yeah. And then during lunch, we were debating, do we put intersection to make it work smart and work harder? Because if we don't do that, nothing will move. One day I received an email from Professor Turok at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. from Ulrich, and I asked myself, if people like them, they are working smarter and harder, for us, so just the final words to say thank you so much for the inspiration, because that for me, it was an inspiration to say, it seems he had to work those hours for the last 20 years. And at his age, he's still working those 20 hours. So for me and for the young people sitting here, this is the call for you to say, event like this, we need it in future, but it's hard work. For students, this came to you. I don't know if there's any other group of students who benefited from this opportunity. There are so many thousands of young South African and Africans sitting in their silos, striving to just meet people who are here in this room. So I just want to leave with you that from now onwards, grab every opportunity that AIMS will bring to you, because we are not just doing it for the sake of doing it, we are doing for your future. So I just want to thank, there are people behind the scene, those who are cheering for us. And then I just want to thank my husband, my kids, and my mom who had to take a bus last weekend, all the way from Limpopo, 2009, 900 kilometers, to come and support me. That's why you see me here. Thank you, everyone, and my friends who have been there to cherish us, and also my colleague. This is a team effort. No one can pull this together. And you have seen this week what we can do, and I want to encourage you that it shouldn't be just for Siyakhula. There are other projects for AIMS that we need to deliver. We have a mandate from now to see in the next 20 years what story we need to tell. Thank you so much.